The emperor who turned human lives into entertainment. The dark story of Commodus. Chapter 1. A mad emperor or a legend? Shaped by history. What happens when the most powerful man in the world no longer sees his people as human? What if every life under his rule becomes nothing more than another form of entertainment? And what happens when an entire empire becomes too terrified to speak out? The answer isn't the plot of a Hollywood movie. It's the story often told about Commodus, one of the most controversial emperors in the history of the Roman Empire. For centuries, his name has been associated with unimaginable luxury, overwhelming arrogance, and decisions so bizarre that historians still debate them to this day. Some describe him as a ruthless tyrant driven by madness. Others argue that his reputation was exaggerated by the political enemies who shaped the historical record after his death. But regardless of where the truth ultimately lies, historians agree on one thing. The reign of Commodus marked a turning point in Roman history. To understand how one man could issue such extraordinary orders, we need to travel back nearly 2,000 years. During the 2nd century AD, the Roman Empire stood as the greatest superpower in the Western world. Its territory stretched from the misty hills of Britain to the deserts of Egypt, from the Iberian Peninsula to the distant frontiers of Mesopotamia. Tens of millions of people, speaking different languages and following different traditions, lived beneath the banner of the Roman eagle. Stone roads connected thousands of cities across the empire. Merchant caravans carried silk from the east, spices from Africa, and precious metals from every corner of Europe. Roman legions guarded the frontiers with unmatched discipline, earning a reputation that made them feared throughout the known world. To many people living at the time, Rome seemed unstoppable, an empire destined to last forever. But behind that magnificent image lay a political system balanced on a dangerous truth. The emperor held nearly absolute power. A single order issued from the imperial palace could change the lives or end the lives of millions. If the emperor ruled wisely, the empire prospered. If he ruled recklessly, every province felt the consequences. Then came Commodus. Born in AD 161, Commodus was the son of Emperor Marcus Aurelius, a ruler widely regarded as one of the greatest emperors in Roman history. Marcus Aurelius was famous not only for his military leadership, but also for his philosophy. A devoted Stoic, he believed that wisdom, discipline, and responsibility were the foundations of good leadership. His personal writings, later published as meditations, remain one of the most influential philosophical works ever written. Few could have imagined that the son of such a thoughtful ruler would become one of history's most infamous emperors. Unlike his father, Commodus was raised in extraordinary privilege. He never had to fight for the throne. He never endured the brutal power struggles that had shaped so many emperors before him. From childhood, he knew the imperial crown was almost certainly his. Growing up surrounded by wealth, servants, and constant praise, he lived in a world where very few people ever dared to tell him no. When Marcus Aurelius died during a military campaign along Rome's northern frontier in AD 180, Commodus was only 19 years old. Almost overnight, he became the ruler of the most powerful empire on earth. At first, many senators and generals believed he would carry on his father's legacy. They expected the young emperor to mature with experience. Instead, they witnessed something entirely different. Within just a few years, troubling signs began to emerge. Commodus showed little interest in governing the empire. Much of the day-to-day administration was handed over to advisors and court officials, while he immersed himself in extravagant banquets, lavish celebrations, and endless forms of entertainment. According to several ancient historians, Commodus no longer wanted to be remembered simply as an emperor. He wanted something far greater, a legend, a god, a hero whose name would endure forever. That ambition soon transformed into a series of increasingly bizarre decisions. Commodus declared himself the earthly incarnation of Hercules, the legendary hero celebrated throughout the Roman world for his unmatched strength and courage. Across the empire, statues began appearing that depicted the emperor wearing the skin of the Nemean lion draped across his shoulders, carrying Hercules' famous club in one hand. These sculptures were far more than artistic expression. They were political statements. Commodus wanted his subjects to believe he was no ordinary man. He was chosen by the gods, and if the emperor himself possessed divine authority, then opposing him was no different from opposing the gods themselves. But this was only the beginning. In the next chapter, we'll see how Commodus began reshaping the Roman Empire in his own image, from renaming Rome itself to staging increasingly bloody spectacles inside the Colosseum, where absolute power and unimaginable cruelty became one.